What's up, family, and welcome back to Yvette's View, and welcome back to the new world of 2022. Today, I want to just come on really quickly and just talk about something that was on my mindset, and the fact that I'm outside in nature today is even better because my topic is about nature. And the sun is shining, it is cool outside, but it's still nice, and I just kind of wanted to delve in on a topic that literally was on my mind this morning when I woke up. And I wanted to just say briefly that I want to give thanks to the fact that if you're here, being able to watch today, then you have breath that you can breathe freely. Give thanks. I mean, we take that for granted every day, just like we do take nature for granted every day. And so today I'm just thankful that I'm here, thankful that I'm well, thankful that I can breathe, and with this breeze, feeling this breeze right now, it's delicious. That's all I can say right now. It's what it feels like right now for me. But anyway, as I said, I was thinking about this topic, and it was something that was also on me last year, about nature and how I wanted to really connect with nature. Now, theoretically, I know what nature is and what natural is. In my mind, I kind of have somewhat of the definition of, what nature is and how it is important and what it's needed for and its purpose and things of that nature. But still, I felt not completely knowing about nature, if you will. I know it in my head, but I don't know it like inside on a deeper level. And so that was something I just wanted to know. I'm like, I just want to know. Nature is what? And for me, I used to make the statement that nature is king, because it's been here since before I was here, before my mom and dad was here, before my great grandmother and great grandfather. All the generations, nature has always been, and we depend on it and take it for granted, just like we take breathing and seeing and being able to walk and things of that nature. We just think we're going to get up and be in our right minds and get up and walk and move our hands and limbs of that nature. But there are times where sometimes that's not going to be the case. There may be a time that may not be the case. Let me just say that. That's only if you don't take care of yourself. But I'm not here to talk about that. I'm going to stay on topic with nature. So that's where I'm going to go, because I kind of slid off for just a second. Just side note there. So anyway, back to how I was feeling about nature all last year. And so I decided to try some practices. That's what I wanted to say. I decided to try some different practices in order to connect with nature, like grounding, sun gazing. I had heard about those practices, and so I'm like, well, let me try it and see. I'm always that type, that one. I'm going to try things out to see if what they say is true and what they say is real. I mean, that's the only way I'm going to find out, or the only way I'm going to know. So is to actually put it into practice. So I started doing the grounding and the practices and stuff like that. And even with that, I knew how to do it. But then there was still this disconnect. I felt like I was getting some of the benefits, but there was still just something missing internally. I don't know. I can't explain what that was. But when it really kind of took root was probably in August, which would have been after my daddy had transitioned. And I think my sensitivity and my emotions were like right there at a peak that I was ready to receive it at that time. So I want to give you a experience that I had, just so you can understand why I'm even talking about nature in the first place. Because I wanted to know what nature was and what nature is. Like I said, I gave my statement: nature is king, nature is all. Just nature is. It's, you can add whatever you want to add to it at that point, at any point in time in your life if you want to. But I just kind of wanted to know where my connection was to nature, how I was connected to nature. And it, even though I knew that I had the four elements that resided within me, earth, the wind, which is oxygen, water, and fire, that all of that is me. So if all of that is me, then how come I'm not getting this connection that I'm seeking? I'm actually seeking this information, and I'm like, where can I get this information from? Because I can get book knowledge all I want, but it's not the same as having a personal experience with it. And I guess that's exactly what I must have been looking for. So hence the story I'm going to tell you. And it may seem a little strange to some of you, but this was just my experience, and I'm hoping that by me sharing it, you kind of do not think I'm too crazy, too weird. But anyway, I'm going to kind of give you a quick synopsis of how my experience was with even connecting or making a deeper connection with nature for me. I will say that that particular day I went out for my normal walk, and that day I went on my walk. I was noticing the trees and paying attention to the trees, and then understanding that, okay, these green trees are giving me oxygen, and then I'm kind of making the connection, okay, well, I'm giving it, it's giving me oxygen, and then when I'm breathing out, I'm giving it carbon, which is what it needs. So there was that give and take right there. So I'm like, okay, now I know my body's made up of a certain amount of water. So when I see water as I'm walking, I'm noticing that that's me as well. The dirt that I would walk by, that's this skin made up of the dirt. When it was a nice breeze, like today, nice breeze, not too strong, but just enough that you know it's there. The wind, the breath is what I connect that with. So anyway, let me get back to my experience. As I'm noticing everything, and I get back to the house to finish up my relaxation and stretches and stuff like that, I just felt like something was missing to end my exercise routine. And so for some reason I was just like, you know what, I think I'm gonna ground today. So I go to the backyard, put my feet in the grass, and the grass was still dewy, wet, prior to maybe the sprinklers going off, so it was a little wet, but not too wet because the sun was out and it was drying it up, but still wet enough. So I get into the ground and take my shoes off. I'm on the grass barefoot, and so I'm walking around the grass, looking at the grass, just observing it, and paying attention to it. And then I see some dirt patching in the grassy area. So I said, oh, you know what? Let me go to the dirt, because I can really get a better receiving message from the dirt, because the grass is like, covering it up. So I'm trying to get as deep as I can to feel some kind of energy connection. So I go and I get to the dirt. Well, what ends up happening is my internal heat that I'm going through at this stage in my life, I started to get warm. Now, my feet are fine, but it wasn't cold enough to cool me off. And so at that time, I'm thinking, well, I gotta cool off. So that's my only mission now, is to cool off. I'm getting hot, I wanna cool off. Something said, lay on the grass. Now, my mindset goes, lay on the grass? Well, if I lay on the grass, I don't have no blanket or yoga mat but you want to cool off. So if you do that, that's going to have that disconnect right there. You won't get what you want if you had a blanket. You won't get what you want if you have your yoga mat. So in order to cool off, you're going to have to get on the grass. I lay down on the grass, and as I lay down on the grass, before I know it, I'm just in like, oh my God, this feels so good. Because the water from the grass is cooling me off. And I'm going, oh my God, this is what I've been wanting. This is easy. This is easy to get. So as I'm laying down there, before I know it, I'm just in relaxation mode. And I think I must have laid there for a good 10 minutes. Seriously, 10 minutes. I had cooled off. I've received what I need to receive from the earth, but I couldn't get up. And like I said, I wasn't trying to do my yoga relaxation pose at that time, but I really ended up in Zen mode because I laid down until the next thing you know, I think I must have fallen asleep but not complete deep sleep, just that little light sleep. And next thing I'm hearing something that says, I need you. And I'm going, how do you need me? And I know I'm talking to this ground, because there's no one else out there, and this is all in my head. So I'm thinking to myself, why would the earth need me? What do I have to give to the earth? What could I possibly have to give to nature? You literally give me life all the time. And it just made sense to me that at that point in time, it was like I had been so disconnected from earth and nature that I walk by, give half attention to, that we both together have a connection and we both receive and take from each other. And just knowing that the law of the universe is, give and take. We got the yin and the yang, we got the positive and the negative. All of those things are important. All of those things have purpose. But if we don't know what those purposes are or what it's used for, or we don't know how to navigate and work even in nature, you can kind of hurt yourself. It's just like, let's just say you're walking against the wind and you're trying to get somewhere really fast. Well, if you're going in the direction that's going against and you're trying to get there, you think you might want to try to take another direction where it would propel you forward. So if I want the wind to work for me, I'm going to have to walk in which direction the wind is blowing, because that's going to propel me forward. But if I walk against it, it's going to give me a struggle. And just knowing that if you know how to navigate in nature, what it can do for you, ultimately, you would be very surprised at just understanding that. And so, hence, that kind of goes to my word of everything the eye can see is me. When I look out at the trees and I see the water, I now see myself in that. And the one thing that really stood out to me, that a word that came to me when I was even thinking about that, is that I thought about this connection and this infinite connection to this network of information that I have access to if I choose to. And when I thought about it in the terms of a network, it literally blew my mind, because I wasn't thinking of it on that technical term, but because we're in technology and that word just kind of fit. Like, you and I, or nature and I, are connected on an infinite level, which means it's endless. It's ever evolving. It's ever expanding. There's no limits to it. It's just what it is. And when that analogy for me, or that thing that made sense for me, it made me feel so much more complete, even more confident, that if I'm a part of it and it's a part of me and it's been asking me to connect with it because we need each other, why do I want to stay disconnected from it? For all these years, I've been disconnected from nature, and it's never given up on me. It's never disconnected from me. The sun shows up for me every day. The moon shows up for me every night with the stars. It stays true to what it does. And I thought to myself, I want to do the same for you. So I acknowledge that. I acknowledge what its power is, what its benefits to me that I get. And from that connection part is when it really just clicked for me, like, man, that's what nature is all about for me. And that was just, for me, that's my experience. And I just wanted to share that little brief experience with you all. And I hope that at some point, if it doesn't make sense to you now, that it might make sense to you later, that we're part of this infinite network of information, of nature that needs us and we need it. And just connecting to it would be the best thing that you could ever do for yourself. I know it literally made me feel like I knew I was really a part of something bigger than just what I think I have going on. And so with that, family, I'm going to end this because I just wanted to give you a brief thing of what I thought nature is. I'm going to ask the question, though, as I end this, what is nature to you? Nature is, and you can fill in the blank for yourself what it is for you. I'm just letting you know what it was for me. That question now goes out to you. And so with that part being said, I'm going to end this with don't forget to like, don't forget to share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and above all, let's start to respect and love nature. It's there for us all the time. So from that point, 2022 is a fantastic new world for me that I'm making completely different than I've ever had a world in my life. And for that, I'm thankful for. So thank you again for allowing me to share some of my time with you, energy and space with you. Guys, love and light, family. Peace.